Welcome everyone. My name is Danielle Peters and I am the owner of Bluebird Pediatric Therapy Services Incorporated in Mobile, Alabama. Today I'm here on behalf of the Regional Autism Network and the Autism Society of Alabama to talk about helpful tips for parents at home with children with autism. So the topic that I'm going to cover today is on routines. When the coronavirus started, I saw an article put out by Temple Grandin, and this is one of the things that she said. The best thing that you can do as a parent is to get your son or daughter on a schedule, to put structure in all of your lives, and to keep your minds and bodies active throughout the day. When I heard this, I thought, what great insight to all of us. On the days that I don't have a routine, I am way more scattered, and by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. But on the days that I've stuck to our home routine, we all feel more happy, more accomplished, and actually have more time for family versus just figuring out what we're doing throughout the whole day. So by adding a routine back into our life, we can get a sense of predictability, a sense of stability through structure. And as we all know, children in general thrive on routine, but children who have autism especially thrive on routine and structure. Without a routine or structure, you may see more meltdowns, you may see more frustration or anxiety, or just a lot of self-stimulation because our children are not getting what they need. And also, without a routine, there's not that predictability or sense of structure. A routine also provides us with an increase in a sense of security at a time of uncertainty. And what a greater way to provide some certainty and security to our children during this time when everything has totally changed than to provide a routine. Routines can decrease stress and anxiety, and they can also establish order in the home. So something new that I've embarked on during this time is teletherapy. And the first thing that I have asked my parents as we've started is, how are you and how are your children doing? Because I know that everything has changed. Kids are not in school anymore, but yet we're doing school online. Parents are still working, but often working online or at home, or going in some and working some at home. Very different. Everyone's routine has changed, right? So I'll ask my parents, how are you doing? Some say, you know what, we've developed a new normal and we are thriving. We're doing just fine. And others have said, we are falling apart. We barely make it through every day and I just don't know what to do. So during that session, we have sat down together and figured out a routine. So through these sessions of helping parents develop routines, I have come up with the 3 C's. The 3 C's of routine: creation, communication, and commitment. Okay, so let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about creation. And basically that means creating a routine. For some, this will be the easiest step, and for others, it'll be the hardest. Because what you have to do is you have to take your day, think about it, and you have to break it into steps. And by breaking it into steps, we can figure out how to write out a routine. Part of creating the routine is writing it out or listing it out, mainly for yourself, and then we're gonna figure out how to communicate it to everyone else. So when you write out your routine, you want to make sure you include some key things. You want to include meal times. Everyone has to eat. And if we're on a schedule, we eat better. We want to include rest time and downtime. And this will look different for every child. We want to include exercise and movement and playtime. And then we also want to include self-care. Yes. Get your children up and get them ready. They need to keep brushing their teeth. They need to keep getting baths. And then the other thing is now we have school and work to add into our routine as well, right? And then there's all these other little things that can fit into the routine in between. Okay, so here's a sample of the routine that our family made. And my husband was a rock star because he created the routine for us first, and then we all dived into it. So at 7:30, we have breakfast. My kids wake up pretty early, so they get up and play, and then we get up and have breakfast at 7:30. After breakfast, we get ready. So we brush teeth, we get dressed, and maybe we're dressed more casually at home, but we still change our clothes and make sure we have fresh things on in the morning. And then from 8:30 to 11, we do schoolwork. This will change soon in a few weeks when it's summer break. But for now, we do schoolwork. And yes, that's a long time to do schoolwork, but we do have breaks in there. And we have movement and PE and exercise in there to help it go easily. Or more easily, I will say. Then we have lunchtime and we have chore time. Yes, parents, add a chore time into your routine. Every child can help with chores, even if it's simply folding some towels, putting up their clothes, or taking the silverware out of the dishwasher. There are things they can help you with, and this will make the routine go smoothly and also teach them life skills. And then we have free play from 12 to 2, and we have quiet time, okay? And this does not look like nap time in our home, and it may not look like nap time in your home. So my kids will grab a book to look at or read, play with Legos, or for some parents, this may be a good time to put in their device time. And not only does this tell children like, oh, during quiet time you get device time, but it also says you need to complete these things and then device time. And then for us, we have free play until dinner time. And so this often looks like going outside and playing, or once again, playing with Legos, because that is what my boys love to do. And then that happens until dinner time, and we eat and then get ready for bed. All right, so now that we have written it out for ourselves, let's figure out the best way to communicate it to our family. So step 2, communication. So the way that we communicated in our family was we wrote it out, but for many children, picture schedules are the way to go. So there are some great resources online that you can print things out. This is a sample of a picture schedule for a morning routine. And you can see here that we have get dressed, brush hair, wash hands, eat breakfast, brush teeth, and then school time. Or you may substitute this for playtime. If your child needs a motivator, get all these things done, and then it's playtime. The great thing about picture schedules is you can rearrange, you can move things. So like if you want your child to brush their teeth when they wake up, they'll do that first, and then you can move get dressed to here. You can create your picture schedule and tweak it as you need to really work for your children. But also when you put these up, they can see and they will learn what to do. One thing about communication is you have it out so they can see it, but you also have to teach the routine. So communicate the routine by teaching it. The first time you pull this out, they most likely magically will not look at it and know what to do. So you'll go through the routine. Okay, on our picture schedule, it says brush our teeth. Let's get our toothbrushes and brush our teeth. Next, oh, that one's done. Let's take it off and put it in our basket. Next, we're gonna brush hair. All right, let's brush our hair together. Get it done. Take it off, put it in the basket. Then we're gonna go wash our hands. All right, let's go wash our hands. And when that's done, take it off, put it in the basket. Now it's time for breakfast. So let's go eat. Once breakfast is done, pull the schedule back out and say, oh, what's next? Let's see. Okay, now we're gonna go get dressed. So head upstairs or wherever you get dressed and get it done together, and then you can take the picture card off. And wow, they are done with it. So now it's either school time or maybe playtime, so that they have a motivator to get it done. Later that night, put your pictures back on so you're ready for the next day. If you find that when you start your routine, this order that you have created doesn't work, you're still in the stages of teaching it, so it will be okay to change it a little bit. I wouldn't totally change it, or that will be hard. But as they learn it, you can tweak it a little bit and teach that flexibility. In the beginning though, it's all about communication and teaching the routine. So picture schedules are great for children with autism because they are very visual learners. What we know often is that if we can give them a picture or a symbol, they can quickly learn it and learn the routine, and then they feel less stressed and they've got it down. In therapy, often I use this really giant schedule board. This is one that I use in the clinic often to communicate what we're gonna do when my kids come in. But when they come in, they know, let's look at our schedule board. Today we're gonna do a puzzle, then we're gonna write, then we're gonna do potato head, and then we get to go home. Or if you're at home, you can do the same. We're gonna do a puzzle, schoolwork, potato head. We're gonna go for a car ride. As the kids complete the activities, they put them in the pockets. So then they know they're done with it. So oftentimes I'll put the harder activities in the first 3 and a motivator at the end. Or if your child needs more motivators, you could do, motivator first, hard activity, motivator, hard activity, motivator. You can really develop these picture boards or schedules however work for your family. I think they are a great way to communicate routine. And they not only communicate it to children, but also the other people in the household. One thing about communicating a routine is to make sure everyone in the household knows the routine. So it's wonderful if you know it and if your children know it, but if the other caregiver in the home does not know the routine and they come home, guess what happens? They disrupt it. And that will make you frustrated, and it may potentially make the child frustrated as well. So communication is key. Okay, and our third step is commitment. So commitment to creating a routine, but also to following through with it. If you take the time to write out, develop this great routine, make your picture schedules, then you commit to it because you put in your great, wonderful time making it. And also, routines take time. So if you create it and develop it and use it one day and it doesn't work, well, it may just mean that we need more communication to teach the routine, or we need more time to teach the routine, or we need to put in more helpers. So one thing that I like to use are visual timers. This timer, let's say I'm setting it for 1 minute, okay? So I tell my child, or I show them on the picture schedule, we are going to do that puzzle for 1 minute. When the green is gone, the time is up on the puzzle. Often these are great to use for motivators. So if we have completed our puzzle and now we're going to do bubbles, we set our timer to do bubbles for 1 minute. When the timer goes off, and it's visual because the color goes away. When the timer goes off, then we're all done with our bubbles and it's back to schoolwork. These are great ways to communicate the schedule as well. It will take extra effort in the beginning, but once you have started to do it, it gets much easier as time goes on. And your children may even start to set their own timer. Oh, I have 2 minutes for teeth brushing. Okay, let's set the timer. Brush our teeth for 2 minutes. All done. Fantastic. So commit to your schedule. You developed it and you are going to be successful. It just takes time to learn it. Somewhere out there it says that it takes 21 days to create a habit. So the same may be for your routine. It may take 21 days for you to adjust to it, or honestly, what I've learned is that children can learn routines quickly, and if we're consistent with them, they'll learn them very quickly. Sometimes they learn them faster than we do, and they're more successful at them than we are because they're only thinking about their routine. Whereas we as adults, we're thinking about our routine, our children's routine, our caregiver's routine, and everything else that goes into it. As we close out, I just want to thank all of you who listened today and say you are doing an excellent job. Times like these, when our whole routine and whole world is disrupted, can be very difficult for everyone, but especially for children with autism, who thrive on predictability and a sense of security. So jump in there, create a routine that works for your family, because all routines are going to look different based on your family and what you have at home and what your child needs. In closing, I want to say thank you all for watching and for listening to this topic on routines. Please continue to watch this series on tips for children with autism in the home. We hope that these will be helpful for you and that you will continue to thrive in a time of uncertainty. We appreciate all that you do as parents and want to continue to encourage you to parent bravely and consistently and to continue to help your child with autism just as you do on a daily basis. You guys are awesome, and so are your children. Thank you so much.